All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating idea. What if your chronic mystery stomach issues, the ones that nobody can figure out, what if they aren't a gut problem at all? What if the real culprit is actually hiding in your neck? I know it sounds wild, but this theory could honestly be a game changer for so many people.
So let's just get right to it. Could a condition like gastroparesis, that's when your stomach just doesn't empty properly, actually be caused by something called cranio-cervical instability, or CCI? All that means is that the very top of your neck isn't stable. Now, I know it sounds like a major stretch, but stick with me, because when you actually start to trace the body's wiring, the connection, well, it starts to make a whole lot of sense. You see, the whole theory is surprisingly simple. When those little bones at the very top of your spine get unstable, they can physically mess with the nerve signals that control your entire digestive system. So we're not talking about your diet or food allergies. This is a mechanical problem in the neck that's causing a functional problem down in the gut. So how on earth can your neck control your stomach? Well, it all hinges on one single, incredibly important nerve. Let's introduce the main character in our story today, the vagus nerve. Think of the vagus nerve as the body's ultimate multitasker. It's this massive nerve that literally wanders from your brainstem all the way down into your abdomen, acting like a superhighway for information going both ways. It's in charge of all sorts of automatic stuff we never think about, and a huge part of its job is running the show when it comes to digestion. And I mean, look at this list. Its job description is just massive. We're not just talking digestion. This nerve has a hand in controlling your heart rate, your breathing, even your immune system. So you can see why if something goes wrong with this nerve, you might get a whole bunch of weird symptoms that seem totally disconnected. Okay, so let's get into the anatomy of it all. How can this superhighway hit such a major traffic jam? Well, the problem lies in one very specific and, it turns out, very vulnerable location. And here it is. This is the anatomical pinch point. The path the vagus nerve takes runs it right in front of the C1 vertebra. That's the very tippy top bone of your spine, the one your skull sits on. And this incredibly close proximity, this is the key to the entire theory. That nerve is in a seriously vulnerable spot. Dr. Chris Centeno, one of the experts from our source material, he puts it pretty bluntly. When those top two neck bones, the C1 and C2, are unstable, they can physically irritate that vagus nerve. Just imagine them constantly bumping into it or stretching it. This isn't just a one-time thing. It's a chronic, low-level irritation that kicks off a whole cascade of problems. So what exactly does an irritated vagus nerve even do? I mean, how does a problem up in your neck manage to shut down your stomach? Well, it turns out to be a surprisingly direct chain reaction. Normally, your vagus nerve is like a green light for digestion. It sends the go signal to your stomach to start churning and processing food. But when that nerve is being chronically poked and prodded by unstable neck bones, that signal gets weak. It's like the green light starts flickering, turning red, and just slamming the brakes on the whole operation. And that's exactly how you can end up with gastroparesis. So let's just trace that path one more time. It all starts with instability in the neck. That leads to direct physical irritation of the vagus nerve. The irritation then weakens the nerve signal, which disrupts the communication to the stomach. And the final result? Gastroparesis. It's a perfect domino effect, starting with a mechanical issue and ending with a digestive shutdown. Okay, so this all sounds plausible, right? But the big question is, how would you even know if this is what's happening to you? While there isn't one single test for this, our sources point to some really compelling clues that can help connect the dots between what's going on in your neck and those symptoms in your gut. All right, so let's break down what those clues actually look like in the real world. What should you be looking for? It really comes down to finding a pattern. First, is there a direct link? Do your stomach issues get worse after you do things that strain your neck? Next, what happens if you stabilize it? Some people actually find that just wearing a simple, soft neck collar for a bit gives them temporary relief from their stomach problems. And finally, have you already been to every GI specialist out there and they've all just thrown their hands up, unable to find a cause? If you're sitting there nodding your head to these, it might be a pretty big sign to start looking at your neck. And this, right here, is the most hopeful part of this entire theory. It suggests that if you can treat the root cause, that instability in your neck, you might not just manage the gut symptoms, you could potentially resolve them completely.
The idea is that simple. Fix the neck, and you just might fix the gut.
So we'll leave you with this to think about. If you are dealing with gut issues that have remained a complete mystery, could the answer be hiding in plain sight, right there in your neck? It's just a compelling reminder that our bodies are so deeply interconnected, and sometimes the answers to the most baffling problems are in the most unexpected places.